Hey there, brothers and sisters. Have you ever wondered what really happens to the soul after death? Specifically, have you heard of the Manuscript of Purgatory? This ancient and deeply mysterious document offers one of the most shocking and eye-opening accounts of the afterlife. It reveals the hidden suffering of souls in purgatory and their journey toward the beatific vision of God. Today, we're diving into the incredible revelations of Sister Mary of the Cross, a humble French nun from the 19th century. Her story is nothing short of extraordinary. Imagine this, a soul from purgatory appearing to her, pleading for help, and sharing astonishing details about the afterlife. Why was Sister Mary chosen for such a mission? What does this manuscript teach us about God's judgment and the purifying fire of purgatory? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll have a completely new perspective on life, death, and the power of prayer. And before we jump in, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss content like this. Don't forget to leave a comment. We want to hear your thoughts. Now, let's journey together into these revelations. Let me take you back to 1873. Sister Mary of the Cross, born Elisa Sophia Clementina Eber, was living a quiet, devoted life when something extraordinary happened. She began hearing groans and pleas that sent shivers down her spine. The source? The soul of Sister Mary Gabriella, who had passed away. Imagine the terror of hearing such cries without understanding their purpose. At first it was overwhelming, even terrifying. But soon Sister Mary realized God had entrusted her with a divine mission to pray for and offer sacrifices on behalf of souls in purgatory. The Manuscript of Purgatory records some of the most heartfelt words shared by this suffering soul. These words are both a warning and a call to action for us. Here's one of the most haunting passages. "Ah, if you only knew what purgatory is. One cannot even remotely imagine the suffering endured here. The longing for God is an unceasing martyrdom." Let that sink in for a moment. Purgatory isn't just a waiting room for heaven, it's a profound state of purification where the soul feels an overwhelming thirst for God, but must first endure the pain of separation. Yet, even in the midst of this suffering, there's hope. Hope fueled by our prayers and acts of love. One of the most striking revelations in the manuscript is this. The souls in purgatory do not complain. They fully accept their suffering, knowing it's a necessary step to enter eternal bliss. Their pain, while immense, is filled with the hope of one day standing in the presence of God. It's a bittersweet torment, a fire that purifies the soul while igniting an unquenchable longing for the divine. This makes us ask ourselves, how often do we truly reflect on our own lives? How often do we live in a way that minimizes the purification we'll need after death? Sister Mary Gabriella's testimony reminds us of the importance of living virtuously now, because every choice we make today shapes our eternity. The manuscript also reveals the different levels of purgatory. For example, Sister Gabriella shared that she spent 2 agonizing years in the Great Purgatory, where the pain was unbearable and relief was scarce. She describes it as a fire that consumes every fiber of the soul. The prayers of the living, she said, felt like tiny drops of water on a raging fire, barely perceptible, yet deeply nourishing to her hope. From there, she transitioned to the second purgatory, where the suffering was still intense, but accompanied by a brighter hope. It was in this state that she began to glimpse the light of God's mercy. Finally, she reached the third purgatory, the least painful but still marked by an insatiable desire to see God face to face. This longing consumed her gently, preparing her for the ultimate encounter with her Creator. Now let's talk about divine judgment. Sister Mary Gabriella describes the moment of death as standing before God, who appears like a mirror of absolute truth. Imagine every thought, action, omission, and hidden feeling of your heart laid bare. Nothing can be concealed. The soul instantly recognizes its unworthiness before the holiness of God and fully understands the need for purification. It's a moment of both clarity and humility, where divine justice is revealed in all its perfection. This description is both humbling and inspiring, isn't it? It reminds us that our time on earth is a preparation for eternity. The closer we draw to God in life, the less purification we'll need after death. And this is where the manuscript becomes even more personal. It offers us practical advice on how to prepare our souls for heaven. First and foremost, it emphasizes the power of prayer. The Holy Rosary, the offering of masses, and acts of charity are invaluable for helping souls in purgatory. The sacraments, especially confession and Holy Communion, are lifelines for our spiritual journey. Confession cleanses us of sin, while communion nourishes us with the grace to become more like Christ. Sister Mary Gabriella's words echo this truth. Without these pillars, the soul risks straying from the path of salvation. But here's something you might not know. The souls in purgatory aren't isolated. They're deeply united in their suffering and share an indescribable love for one another. They encourage each other, united in their shared destiny of purification. Isn't that beautiful? Even in their pain, they reflect the love of God. This brings us to an important question. How can we help? What can we do to ease their suffering and prepare our own souls for eternity? The manuscript is clear. Living a life of charity, embracing daily crosses with love and remaining faithful to the sacraments are key. And let's not underestimate the power of small acts. Every prayer, every mass offered, every moment of kindness, it all matters. As we reflect on the revelations from the manuscript, let us remember that every small action we take in this life has eternal significance. The soul's journey doesn't end when the heart stops beating. Instead, it transitions into a state of purification, justice, and love that draws it closer to God. This truth should inspire us to live each day intentionally with love, humility, and a deep desire to grow in holiness. The manuscript serves as a wake-up call for all of us. It's a reminder that our prayers and sacrifices can truly help those who have gone before us. Imagine being in a state of longing for God, with every fibre of your being crying out for His presence, and knowing that the prayers of a loved one could bring you relief. That's the power of prayer, and it's something we must never underestimate. Have you ever considered the impact of a single prayer? Perhaps you've prayed for a departed loved one without knowing the immense joy and hope it brought to their soul. These revelations challenge us to see prayer not as a chore, but as a profound act of love. Let's take this opportunity to commit ourselves to praying more intentionally, for our own purification and for the souls of others. As you listen to this message, think about your own life. Are there areas where you've been holding back from God? Are there sins you've neglected to confess or relationships you've left broken? Sister Mary Gabriella's testimony teaches us that the time to reconcile with God and others is now, not later. The more we align ourselves with God's will in this life, the closer we draw to Him in eternity. Now let's talk about something practical. How can we live out these lessons in our everyday lives? Start by making prayer a daily habit. The Rosary, for example, is a powerful tool for intercession and meditation on the mysteries of Christ's life. Attending Mass regularly, receiving the sacraments, and practicing acts of charity are not just traditions, they're lifelines for our souls. And don't forget acts of kindness. Helping someone in need, offering a word of encouragement, or simply listening to someone's struggles can be transformative, not just for them, but for you too. As Sister Mary Gabriella's story shows, our actions have ripple effects that extend far beyond what we can see. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect on this. What legacy are you leaving behind? Will your life inspire others to grow closer to God? The souls in purgatory depend on us to remember them, pray for them, and honor their journey. But they also remind us of our own journey, one that doesn't end here, but continues into eternity. So, brothers and sisters, I urge you to take these revelations to heart. Share this video with friends and family who might benefit from these insights. Let's create a community that uplifts and inspires each other to live holier, more intentional lives. If you haven't already, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future content that could transform your life. Leave a comment below sharing your thoughts. What part of Purgatory's reality struck you the most? We'd love to hear from you. And remember, this is not just a story, it's a call to action. Our prayers, sacrifices, and daily choices matter. Together, let's strive for a life that reflects God's love and mercy, and let's do everything we can to help the souls who are longing to see His face. Thank you for joining us on this journey. May God bless you, and may we all continue to grow in faith, hope, and love as we walk this path together. Until next time, stay blessed, and don't forget, we're all part of a greater story, one that leads us closer to the heart of God.